welcome to the Connection Podcast. I am Lauren Dry, also known as the Connection Catalyst. Connection and this podcast for me is personal. As a driven professional, I found myself an expert in all things work and business, but it was at home that I really needed clarity and ease. After finally finding it one marriage breakdown and one marriage reset later, and finally discovering what really works to have connection in modern relationships, using science, simplicity and soul, our signature program, Rise into Regulation, was born. That's giving so many others in modern, driven relationships back clarity and ease for good. On the podcast today, we're going to dive deep together on all things relationships, business, identity, and leadership. And clarity and ease is at the heart of it all. And we are so happy to be with you so that you can have what you need in connection, mind, body, and soul too. Twice this week, I've had this specific challenge come up, and it is deeply painful in a really unique way, around how to navigate the roommate mode and business mode when you are married and you do want that intimate and romantic connection, and that spark to come back. One of the specific comments that was repeated by both of these wonderful people was, I'm actually scared. I'm scared that I am going to find the spark just in some kind of work connection or networking place with someone else. I'm worried that my marriage has become more of a business deal, and we're really great teammates. We're great teammates. We co-parent well, and there is this empty hole around the next 20, 50 years where our romance is supposed to be. And it's terrifying because I think I'm supposed to be grateful. I can see all the wonderful qualities about my partner, how well things are going in the business or just in life as we co-parent and have our own work commitments and goals. But it's terrifying to look into the future and think, well, is this it? Is this the best that it's going to get? And then when you go and talk to your friends about it or your family, the best support that they can come up with is, oh, you guys are great. Don't worry about it. It'll come back. It's just a season. So if that's you right now and your body is screaming and there is a massive disconnect between how things are looking on the outside versus what you feel in your body, and that intimate connection that you know is so important, not only for you, but for your marriage, and also so that your kids can see what a really healthy, beautiful, loving relationship looks like. We are going to cover some really beautiful solutions for you and also walk you through how and why this happens so that you can get exactly what you need again. Business relationships can be so successful, whether this is an employer-employee relationship, whether it's a business partnership, whether it's a co-working relationship, because we have the capacity to do two things. One is compromise and two is compartmentalize. Okay, compromise happens in business when you have these big grand visions and these ideas and these feelings, but you compromise because you've hired people or you're working alongside people who have more qualified expertise, and because that color and that life is really required to help the business grow. Compartmentalization is really important so that you have the ability to regulate in a professional way in your work environment, and you can give life to this beautiful creation that you've birthed. Even if it's not a business of your own, it's, a career plan. It's a goal that you've set and you're working to achieve it together with your partner. Now, these two qualities are essential to be able to get a business off the ground, to share goals together, to make plans. And I will tell you right now, compromise and compartmentalization is where intimate, authentic connection goes to die. So, how do you have a successful business partnership and a successful intimate relationship when these qualities directly clash with each other? And I'm going to start with the first most important tool that you're going to need. The first most important tool that you're going to need is, first of all, self-compassion. Because when you find yourself in this stage, it can be really easy to talk yourself into complete dissociation. Things are fine. House is great, kids are great, business is great, work is going great, 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 and you find yourself on repeat, It's like a robot. Great. Everything's great. Give yourself some self-compassion, okay? We're on a human journey. And at the end of your life, you're not going to roll over in your sleep and say, thank goodness my business was so successful. Or thank goodness the mortgage was paid on time and the kids went to a great school. Okay, we are on a human journey, and part of that human journey is enjoying and being a part of the richness of your relationships. You are not selfish. You are not broken for wanting more and wanting that depth of connection. It's the fire of life. And what a beautiful capacity we have to be able to enjoy that and be a part of that. The second step that I would like you to start embracing, if you're looking to find more intimate connection in your marriage, is first have a really healthy, accountable, clear, and honest accounting of the interference of business and work and devices inside of your relationship. Now, the having phones, having tablets, having emails that you can respond to anytime. If you are an entrepreneur, I'm telling you right now, wow, how fantastic is it that you get to take advantage of it, and you can work 24/7. You can do so much with so much immediacy and really get things off the ground in a beautiful, effective way. And if you are in that season, you are going to need some super clear hygiene rules around when and where these devices and these times for business are going to be allowed in your home. And I want you to consider it exactly like hygiene. Exactly as though when you are holding your phone, this is a third person that you have invited to your kitchen table, to your bedroom, and who is sitting beside you. I don't know if you've seen the video. It's fantastic, of a man holding up a phone while he was having a conversation. It wasn't on, it wasn't open, but just holding the phone. Completely dismissed and minimized the connection that he was having with his audience and with the person he was having a conversation with. Just having a phone at the table signals to the other person that your mind is elsewhere, that your connection is elsewhere. And deep, authentic connection requires the intimacy of our undivided attention. And attention is a resource. It is the most valuable resource in commerce, in business, and in connection. And so because of that, it requires our attention, our concentration, our value to protect it with care. Okay? So we need to start seeing these devices as what they are. A third party in our relationship that can take our attention away. And I know what I'm asking you to do is tough, but I want you to pause and have a look at what the current outlay of time is, where that phone is in your hand, whether it is on the kitchen table, whether it's on the bench, whether it's next to your bed. And I'm not saying what a lot of other people in business or in counseling or marriage counseling may tell you, which is you walk in that door, you turn off that phone, you throw it across the ocean, and you don't turn it back on again until the morning. For a lot of people in business and who have big goals, it's just not realistic right now. And I want to keep using the word right now, okay? We don't want to be planning for this level of intensity for a lifetime. But if you're in that season, what I want to do is set you free from it being a yes or a no, an on or an off, and that's that. But what I will say to you is if you are in that season where it is important that you have that level of intensity and you do need to be on a lot, I want you to practice this hygiene tip of even just hours, let's say from the hours of 5 to 7:30, where you have dedicated family time where the phone is off, where your concentration is on, and you have regulation tools that allow you to move from that difficult transition stage of I have a million ideas going on in my mind all the time. I have so many things that are requiring my attention. I didn't write back to this person. This invoice is due. I haven't quoted up this job. Whatever it is, before you walk in the door, I want you to write some notes down, whether it's on paper or in your notes app, and then turn off the phone or go and put it somewhere out of sight. because these things have trillions of dollars invested in them to obtain and hold your attention at the expense of everything else. So with full awareness of that, do what you can to protect those windows of time, even if it's only for a couple of hours, and build up to those longer blocks of time. But it doesn't have to be, okay, 1 day a week is the only time I dedicate to my family and then I switch off. Each day during the week, create dedicated and protected moments of connection with your family and with your partner. Because remember, if you are working so hard for such a beautiful goal and it is for your family, make sure they are still there at the end of it. And these dedicated windows of time are the backbone to begin getting you there. Next, something we cover a lot on this podcast is values. Now, it's very, very easy to slide into that zone where work overtakes everything and you become so good at compartmentalizing that your relationship becomes more of a performance than a connection. And so in order to find out what connection even means to you again on your own solo and together in your marriage is to get super clear on your values. And whenever I bring up the word values, I know what many people may feel is I know what my values are. I know I want to be kind. I know I want to have fun. I want to, my family is important. I'm telling you right now, when you do this exercise that I've outlined for you in the values episode of the podcast, things are going to become much clearer and simpler in terms of how you can get what you need in your relationship, but also in your business as well. And you're going to create a new team framework around what it means to communicate, what it means to build a lifestyle that you both agree with that isn't just sweeping you along like a current. And your core values as well. You know, how do you show up together and how do you show up on your own? You're going to have a new simplified understanding of each other and of your own selves that isn't run by the patterns that have been sweeping you along all of this time. 3, you're going to find your favorite regulation tools so that you can start having a little bit more clarity on where your protective patterns, so your fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. Freeze is dissociation and performance. So fawn is performance and having that mask on. Fight is being in that hypervigilant state. And flight is just not wanting to have those conversations in connection. So having clear awareness of where your body is telling you sweet little lies. And you think it's your personality, you think it's who you are, but really it's your survival nervous system state telling you stories that are not matched for your true identity and who you are at your core. So daily regulation practices, simple tools that allow you in a safe way, even if it's just gently tapping your fingers together once a day to remind yourself that you have a body and doing those deep breathing exercises. Come and chat to me. I have a ton of resources that are accessible to use when you are busy and you don't have time to do a full intensive breathwork session. Come and hang out with me in the DMs on Instagram. I'd love to chat with you. And make sure you have something, most importantly, that is not perfect, but is just perfect for you, that your body feels like it can access without it feeling overwhelming, without you going into a shame spiral if you don't try. When you get better at differentiating between what is a nervous system response versus your identity, then you can start making a plan and building an understanding around who you are in each moment and perhaps why you don't want to connect with your partner or why that connection isn't even happening and where those challenges are around. Is this a me challenge? Is this a them challenge? Is this a business challenge? Or what's happening at the heart of all of this? With delegation, a lot of the time, the individuals and the couples I work with have created a business structure that really works for them. One of them is doing the accounting and the books. The other one is maybe front of house. One of them is manager and, you know, the CEO and the ideas person. The other one gets the more practical details done. Now, when this happens and you are building it together, as the business grows, those roles absolutely do need to evolve. And what can be a challenge is when we hang on to the roles out of comfort or maybe perhaps feel like the business requires a new kind of a structure, maybe more ownership of if this is a business born from one person, the other person is supporting, some clear conversations and a future pacing and future planning about what the business will look like long term. So there's not resentment if the business starts to grow and one person maybe is taking the business in one direction and the other person's taking it in another. So constantly having those differences of conversation around, okay, this is my protected home space and this is an intimate conversation and this is a business conversation that happens in business hours, and protecting that fiercely. That way, when delegation comes up, it's going to come from a place that serves both people, and it doesn't start to bubble that resentment around, okay, well, now I just feel like an employee, or I just feel like the person driving this ship and you're just along for the ride. It really is going to support you to make sure resentment is not chipping away at your connection. One of the most beautiful things that you can do together in your partnership is build a business, is work towards shared goals, is to support each other in your own professional goals, whether it's together or on your own separate journeys. It can absolutely bring you closer together and create a wonderful shared system that allows your relationship just to become more enriched. And there are points within this dynamic where, when they're not taken care of, can really create challenges that just pull you apart because of the nature of what happens when you try to combine business and intimate relationships. So work with these tools. There's some notes in the show notes to be able to get you started so that you can make a plan from here and just start finding your way back to intimate connection and the whole purpose for why we have these big goals in the first place. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to dive a bit deeper, please come find me on Instagram. We love having a chat about it. And if there's anything specific that came up or really resonated for you, we'd love to hear about it. Come and hang out anytime. And thank you so much for being here. Big love.